Hi everyone, and welcome to my first ever story time. This story time is how I broke my foot at a horse show. Full disclosure, I didn't actually break any bones. I have something called EDS, and essentially when a horse has in the past, and this time, once again, jumped onto my foot. Before I start the story, I want to say that this happened because someone was negligent, did not listen to me when I explicitly stated something that they needed to do to keep myself, my horse, and themselves safe. If something similar has happened to you at a horse show, comment down below because this stuff happens way too frequently. It has made it so that the bones get squished and then expand, and then all the bone marrow leaks out, which is a lot grosser than breaking your foot if you think about it. However, the good thing is it takes a lot less time for that to heal than if I actually broke some bones. Originally, I wasn't going to do story time about this. I wasn't even going to mention this because it seems kind of petty. However, it severely messed up my foot for about a month. So there was harm, and I decided why not, because this person was super stupid, and I feel like I have the right to talk about it because it happened to me. So I'll set the scene for you. I just arrived at the horse park. I was helping my trainer warm up some horses. We got done with all the horses that needed to be warmed up, so I took my horse out for a little hand walk around the property. I ran into some old friends and started chatting with them, and while I was chatting with them, I just had him stand next to me. Goose is really good with standing. He actually doesn't try and walk away, bend down to eat, or do anything like that. He just sits and stands because he is such a good boy. Then this kid comes and runs up behind my horse. Now, I say kid, but he was actually like 14 or something, so long enough to know that he should have not done this. And this wasn't this kid's first time at a horse show either, because this kid was in the mid-20s or something. So he had been to a lot of horse shows before. And if you have spent any time around horses, you know that rule number 1 is you do not run around horses. Rule number 2, you do not walk behind horses, a horse's butt, especially if you do not know that horse. So he broke rule number 1 and rule number 2 when he ran behind my horse's butt. Goose, being 5 at the time, was very confused and concerned because he was like, what the heck? That is not supposed to happen. I am very confused. The only time that has happened is when there's an emergency. So he got concerned because he was like, oh my god, is there an emergency? Is a horse gonna come running down? Is someone dying? Blah, 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 blah. Naturally, I told the kid, hey, don't do that. You don't run at a horse show. At this point in time, I didn't even know if he was going to be riding horses because, we bring a lot of our friends to horse shows. So I just thought I'd be like, hey, please don't run around the horses. You can't do that. It can be really dangerous. And he was like, oh, I got it. I'm good. No worries. And I was like, okay. So I was focusing on calming him down because he was really concerned. So I took him for a little 20-meter circle, and he seemed to calm down a little bit. So I went back to standing and talking with my friend. This kid, for a second time, then comes and runs back past us, after he had already confirmed that he was good and understood and was fine. Now this time, Goose was like, oh my god, because this kid got so close that he ended up low-key touching him and moving his tail with the wind of him running and stuff. And so Goose was like, absolutely not, and flipped out, and he started trying to run backwards. And it was at this point that all 4 feet left the ground, and he jumped directly onto my foot. Of course, there was nothing I can do about it because he had his tail flagging straight up in the air like he was an Arabian, prancing around me, trying to bolt and run off while I was holding him. So I had to go just hold on for dear life as he is trying to take off and run away because horses are herd animals. And he was like, that person is running, I need to run with them because I don't know what he's running from. Now, I was so mad at this person that I was going to walk him back to his stall, but he would not calm down, and I knew there was no way I was going to make it, so I decided to screw it, and I walked back towards where he was running, and I found him, and I started screaming at him that he cannot do that because my horse was prancing in circles around me, trying to run, and I was screaming at this kid do you see what you've done? How dare you? I told you not to do this. You should know better. He is a 5-year-old. You cannot do that to him. He is losing his mind. He jumped on my foot. He could have broken my bones. not knowing that I was in fact very much injured because I was hopped up on adrenaline from my horse trying to drag me around everywhere. And this actually got Goose to stop because he was like, whoa, why is she mad? Is she mad at me? And I was like chewing this kid out for a solid 5 minutes. And he was going, yeah. And him and his friends were laughing. They were kind of making jokes, being like, here's just a crazy lady. And I was like, okay, then I'm gonna go find your parents and talk to them, and then they're going to have to comp my hospital bill and my show bill if I can't compete because you broke my foot. Was there any way of me proving this? Absolutely not. Was I just talking nonsense because I was upset? Yes. I have a bit of a temper. I try and be very kind and nice, but if you mess with my horse, I will absolutely put you down. Sorry, the camera started falling because I was like talking so passionately and I got upset. Okay, where was I? I am very kind and nice and I try and be supportive, but you do not mess with my horse. Absolutely not. And I ended up walking him back up the hill because the facility is really hilly and I had to stop halfway because my foot was throbbing with pain and I couldn't put pressure on it. So I called my friend, she didn't pick up, and here I was panicking because he was still flipping out trying to leave, and it's like, dog, you can't do that. Luckily, my sister picked up and she came and got the horse from me, and my friend and my friend's mom came to grab me and help me stand at the table and stuff. And it was swelling horribly. It was not good. Bruises everywhere. Luckily, it wasn't that bad because it was the outside of my foot, but it was bruising up horribly. It was swelling. I couldn't put pressure on it. It was hot. I was kind of freaking out. I would show a picture and be like, here's my foot. Here you can see the band and it's in the imprint of a horseshoe. That's how hard he landed on my foot. However, I've been on the internet for a little bit, and rule number 1 of the internet, do not post your feet. So, unfortunately, I can't do that. But because I was still kind of helping and stuff, I decided, I'm not gonna go to the hospital, I need to help. And if I get a thing that says, actually, you busted your foot up, you can't compete, I'm gonna be really upset because this was a decently expensive show. It also was the last hunter jumper show I had with my horse before he would get sent off to Colorado for me when I go to college. So I decided to keep quiet about it until the last day. It was painful and I ended up having a panic attack because I have a lot of not great mental health issues. This video doesn't have much of a point. I was just kind of angry and wanted to rant about it because it was really upsetting and it ended up messing up a lot of my show, and I actually had to drop out of a dressage show after because my foot was in so much pain. So that was really, really upsetting. However, if I did had to come up with a point for this video, it would be that if someone has a horse and it is their horse and they tell you, please don't do that, don't do it. It is very easy not to do the thing, unless the thing is like, hey, don't breathe, or hey, don't not jump off that cliff. But if it's like, hey, please don't run around my horse, that's pretty simple not to do, and listen to them. And if you've been in the equestrian world for a while, and you've been to horse shows for a while, then I think everyone could use a reminder of practice horse show etiquette. Etiquette. Practice horse show etiquette. Pass right shoulder to right shoulder. If someone calls the outside and they won't be passing you right shoulder to shoulder, give it to them, because chances are their horse might be doing something silly or stupid and they cannot turn off the outside. And then their horse will run into your horse. And then that's kind of your fault because they called outside. Don't make loud noises around horses. Don't open an umbrella around horses. Anyway, I would say no hate to this kid, but absolutely all of the hate to this kid. He messed with my horse, he messed with my baby, my child, and that is not okay. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. I apologize for whatever this is. I don't really know what happened. I almost blacked out with pure motherly female rage. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember, life is dangerous, so don't die out there.